Alright, so these are 4.3, solving inequalities using multiplication or division notes. Alright, so this is solving inequalities. A lot of it's the same, except a few of little things that we have to be careful with, okay? So if you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality sign, okay? But let's go ahead and just try a couple problems before we get to that. So my first step is I draw a line just like before. And then I see this is 6 times n, so I'm trying to get n by itself, so I'm going to divide by 6. Divide by 6 over here. The 6's cancel out, you get left with n. And then 90 divided by 6 is 15. And then since we did not divide or multiply by a negative, we drop the sign. So we get n is less than 15. So then we go ahead and we do this. It's 15, 16, 17, 18, 14, 13, okay? And it is open circled because it does not have that line underneath. And then we can use our arrow rule, right? Because the n is on the left, so my arrow goes that way. Okay, moving on, number 2. We draw our line. Okay, this means to divide. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 4 over here. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. So these cancel each other out. You get left with x. And then 18 times 4. If you don't know it, you come over here and you do the math. So that's 32. You carry the 3. You get 72. And a negative times a positive is a negative. I did not multiply or divide by a negative. So you keep that sign and you drop it down. So I drop down my sign and it becomes x is less than or equal to negative 72. Then you go negative 72, negative 73, negative 74. Okay, and then we have to decide, is it going to be open or closed circle? It's going to be a closed circle on negative 72 because that equal sign underneath, and then x is on the left, so I can use my arrow rule. So here it is. It goes this way. So there you go. Okay, moving on, number 3. All right, so this is going to be where we have to flip our signs. So we draw our line down the thing. I have multiplied, that t is multiplied by that negative 20, so I'm going to have to divide by negative 20. Okay, as soon as you divide by a negative, you are flipping that sign. So that sign was greater than, now it becomes less than. So then we divide by negative 20 on both sides. These cancel out, you get t. And then a negative divided by negative is a positive. 80 divided by 20 is 4. And then we flip that sign, so my answer is t is less than 4. Okay, so then we go ahead 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 2. Open circle because it does not have the equal sign. And t is on the left, so I can use my arrow rule. So I go this way. Okay, be careful. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign. Okay, you flip that inequality sign. All right, number 4, moving on. We draw our line. I'm going to have to divide by a negative because that's multiplication, so I'm dividing by a negative 3. So right away, I'm going to flip that sign, dividing by negative 3. Okay, I'm going to come over here so I make sure I'm right. Divide by 3. This becomes 3. And then that would be 9 minus 0. Drop down that 1. Go in 0 times. So then we cross that decimal, so I bring that decimal up. And then I bring that 5 down. 3 goes into 5 times. And that would be, so 30.5 on this side. And since we divided by a negative, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. And we have q left over here because those canceled out. And we drop down that second sign because we divided by a negative, so I have to flip it. So q is less than or equal to 30.5. So I'm going to go, since it's a half, I'm going to do 30 here, negative, I'm going to do negative 30 here, and I'm going to do negative 31 because it's a halfway, so I know negative 30.5 would go in between those two, and it's q, and it has the equal sign, so I'm going to put a closed dot. Then if I wanted to, I could continue this. Okay, I'm going to do a closed dot, and then Q is on the left, so I can go ahead and use my rule. If you don't like the rule, remember you can pick, so negative 31 here is less than or equal to negative 30.5. That is true, so it would go this way, yes. Okay, all right, keep on going. We draw our line. Okay, we're going to have to divide by a negative, so right away, once we see that, we should know this has to go this way. Okay, so I'm going to divide by a negative 4, both sides. Okay, I can't do that in my head, so I'm going to come over here and divide by a negative 4. So since I'm dividing by negative 4, and it's a fraction, we're going to skip the first one. We're going to go ahead and flip the negative 4. So 4 is always over 1. So to flip it, it becomes, or to find the reciprocal, it becomes 1 over 4. And then we change it to multiplication. Okay, and then we multiply. We can go ahead and use our butterfly method. What goes into 2 and into 4? 2. So we divide out 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then we take 1 times 1, which is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. So I get 1/6. And this is a positive, this is a negative, so we keep that negative. And then we cancel these out, and it becomes P. And we drop down that sign. This sign, the second sign, because we divide by a negative, so you have to flip the sign. Okay? So now I have P is greater than negative 1/6. So I'm going to put negative 1/6 here, and I'm going to go ahead and count by 1/6 each way. So negative 2/6, negative 3/6, and then this would be 0, 1/6, 2/6. If you want, you can reduce those fractions. It would be an open circle at negative 1/6, and then P is on the left, so I can use my arrow rule, and it's going to go that way. If you want, you can check 0 is greater than negative 1/6. That is true, so it does go this way. Alright, number 6. So we draw our line down. You guys have calculators, so we're going to divide by 1.6. We are not dividing by a negative or multiplying by a negative, so this sign stays the same. So I'm going to just drop that down. I'm going to take 8. I'm going to divide it by 1.6 on my calculator. I get 5 over here. And then these cancel out. You get M over here, okay? And then this is a negative 5 because a negative divided by positive is a negative. So now I have negative 5 is greater than or equal to M. So I'm going to go ahead negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2. Okay, then I have to decide where am I going. So first of all, it's a closed circle because that equal sign underneath. Then I have to decide which way I'm going. So I'm going to pick negative 6 to look at. So I'm going to pick negative 5 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Is that true? No. So as soon as you get a no, you know it has to go to the other way. So it's going that side. Okay, moving on, number 7. Okay, we start by drawing my line again. Okay, this is a negative 4. Okay, so I'm going to do the opposite of negative 4. So I'm going to have to multiply by a negative 4. So this is dividing by a negative 4. So to multiply by a negative 4. Oops, I'm multiplying by a negative 4. So I have to go ahead and flip that sign right away. Okay, these cancel out. We get R over here. A negative times a negative is a positive. So I'm going to get 40 because 10 times 4 is 40. So I'm going to do 40. 41, 42, 39, 38. Okay, 40 has a closed circle, and then R is on the left side, so we can go ahead and use our arrow rule and draw it, and it should go this way. Okay, you can also check. I don't care which way you do it. Alright, so we draw our line. Oh, this is a negative 5 dividing by a negative 5, so I'm going to have to do the opposite, which is multiplying by a negative 5. Multiply by a negative 5. As soon as you see that you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, you flip that sign. Okay, these cancel out. You get T over here. Then 2.5 times negative 5 would be 12, and then negative times a positive is a negative, or 12.5, sorry. Okay, and then we go ahead and we make our graph. So this is, I'm going to do by half, so this is 12. Then I'm going to, so negative 12. We're going to do over here, sorry. We're going to do negative 12 here. Then we're going to count, so this is a half. Then negative 13 would be here. And then negative 11 would go here because we have half. And then it is open circle because there's no equal sign underneath. And then T is on the left, so I can do my arrow rule. So it should go this way. If you didn't know that, we can check. Negative 13 is less than negative 12.5, which is true. So it would go this way, yes. Okay, number 9. We draw our line. we are multiplying by what's on the bottom, which is a negative 0.3, both sides. Since we're multiplying by a negative right away, you should realize that you're going to flip that sign. So this is going to be coming this way. These cancel out. So now I'm going to take a negative 2 times a negative 0.3, which I know is a positive because a negative times a positive, or negative times a negative is a positive. And I get 0.6. And then I still have that q over here. Okay? Then I'm just going to go by 0.6 or 0.10, the tenths. So I'm going to go 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 0.5, 0.4. Okay, it does have the equal sign, so I'm going to go close dot, and then I have to decide which way. Q is on the right, so I can't use my my arrow rule. So we could rewrite this where Q is still bigger, right, because it's still eating that Q, 0.6, and then do the arrow rule, which is fine. Or you could also do 0.6 is less than or equal to 0.9. Is that true? Yes, so it goes that way. All right, last problem that we will be doing is to win a game, you need at least 45 points. So 45 points at least. So you have to have more than or equal to 45, okay? At least goes away. Each question is worth 3 points. Write and solve an inequality that represents the number of questions you need to answer per game. So we don't know how many correct answers we got, so that's going to be my P. But I know I get 3 points per correct answer. So I'd be 3 times P is greater than or equal to 45. So I draw my line, divide by 3, divide by 3. These cancel out. This is a P. We didn't divide or multiply by a negative, so I just dropped down that sign. And 45 divided by 3 is 15. So I have to score greater than or equal to 15 points. There's your answer. All right, that is 4.3 for you.